A city man has spent the last decade seeing Iowa in a way few others have, one county and at least 1 mile at a time on foot.
KTIV's Taylor Deckard caught up with Tyler Sullivan in Lakeview as he checked Sac County off his list.
Most people run for exercise, but for Tyler Sullivan, he's on a mission to run at least 1 mile in all 99 Iowa counties. And he's at 97 right now, pretty close to the finish line.
In 2015, during a drive to Mason City to visit his girlfriend, Sullivan said he realized he didn't recognize many of the counties he passed through, sparking an idea to visit each of Iowa's 99 counties. But that idea came with a twist.
I met a friend. He's like, "You ever thought about running these cities you're visiting?" I laugh. I'm a marathoner. There's no way I can run in like Luton, Climbing Hill, the very small towns in like Woodbury. And I was like, he's like, "You don't have to go far. Run at least a mile."
Since then, Sullivan has logged miles and miles, stopping to take in small towns and landmarks along the way. His latest stop was in Lakeview, Iowa. This year, he has added the challenge of visiting 250 museums in Iowa in 1 year. He shares photos and reflections from the road on his Facebook page, Iowa Scenic Views by Foot, where followers track his latest stops.
And we really enjoy entertaining people from all over the country, but especially around Iowa.
One of his favorite runs took place in Ida County. Along the way, he began writing poems for each county.
There lies a town called Ida Grove, located in the western part of the state. That's for Ida County.
Sullivan says the journey is less about checking places off a list and more about celebrating what makes Iowa unique.
These towns are magical. It's where people go to church. It's where they go to school. It's like where they like to grow up. And that's what I did. I go to special attractions along the way.
He is nearing the finish line, but doesn't plan to run in his last 2 counties just yet, hoping to complete this task in the next 2 years.
What's the rush? So I still have to visit Humboldt and Harrison. I still have to run Winterset, West Des Moines, Woolstock in Wright County, and also Goldfield. And then Washington's officially my last city to run through as I finish my last victory lap.
In Lakeview, Iowa.
Near the intersection of South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa, you will find a riverboat.
Taylor Deckard, KTIV News 4.
Sullivan has written over 400 poems about Iowa and says he plans to eventually compile those poems into a series of books.